Assalamu alaikum, greetings and Ramadan Mubarak. I'm Zainab Khan, and on the behalf of the Canadian Pakistani Support Group Association, I warmly welcome all speakers, participants, supporters, and viewers in Maskan Ramadan fundraiser. मैं जैनब खान आप सबको CPSG फैमिली की जानिब से इस मस्कन रमदान फंड रेजर में खुशामदीद कहती हूँ. Today, in this virtual event, the presence of our speakers who are representing their organizations and communities across Canada shows the harmony and devotion towards Muskan as a project for the community and by the community. Muskan is a word which is derived from Urdu language, which means peaceful place, ek pursukoon jagah. And this is the mission of this place to provide peace, safety, security, and a hope for all women of all races, religions, and ethnicities. Since 2019, more than 90 women and children have found their peace in Muskan, which gave them hope, courage, and strength to go further in life. I want to further add that CPSG as a team started this fundraising campaign to build a shelter and reached out to the community to support this cause. We have received support, encouragement, and wishes from a lot of people, and some of you are here present with us today. Before I request our speakers, I would like to request Aneela Azeem, President CPSG, to share her remarks about the goal of this fundraiser.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Ramadan Mubarak to all of you. I'm very humbled with the presence of all speakers and all the supporters of Muskan. I'll be honest to say that this Muskan would not have been serving all these women and children without your support. I would be brief because I know there are a lot of amazing speakers are waiting to energize this event. I would just want to explain the purpose of this fundraiser, which is to build a house or buy a property for Muskan, because we have been experiencing some problems regarding the relocation of Muskan, and we have seen our services were discontinued, and it breaks our heart to see that when we are not able to help these women. So we have decided to buy our own property for Muskan so that we have to stay there without any fear of relocation. And then everybody is calling us for help, and we are trying to support women all over Canada. We receive calls from Fort McMurray, even people are coming from Montreal and Vancouver. So it will be a great pleasure for us to have our own property, and we will keep serving these women.
Now I will request our first speaker, and she has joined us from Edmonton. And recently we stepped outside the Calgary and reached out to the people in other communities, cities, and provinces. So she's joining us from Edmonton. Chand Gul is very lively, energetic, and very kind-hearted person who is a community activist and nominee for Talbot Global Leadership Prize as well. She carries many tags because she is affiliated with different organizations because of her social work and community work. So Chand, I would request to share your thoughts about Muskan.
Assalamu alaikum and hi everyone, good afternoon. The one thing which was amazed me, the tour of the Muskan and the way you described about women, that if a woman can feel a safe place, like it's unfortunate that the woman will leave a daughter or a sister or a wife or a mother. If she will leave the house, it's a disaster, it's a sad news. But after that, where she will go, if she will find a place where she can feel comfortable, where she can feel safe, I think so, it's a big reward for her. So the Muskan, I think so, is a place where she can feel comfortable, where she can feel that, yeah, I am not alone. I have shelter where I can see some one like me. Like, I'm not the only woman, I'm not the only person who are facing that, or who are or who are isolated. So the one thing which is very sometime, like when we came here as an immigrant, or if we are not immigrant, but we need people like us. We need to people, we are sharing our values, we are sharing our language. हमें चाहते हैं कि हम उन्हीं लोगों के से बात करें जो हमारी तरह दिखाई देते हैं, या हमारी ही ज़बान बोलते हैं, या जो भी हम वैल्यूज शेयर करते हैं. तो जब उनको ऐसी जगह मिलती है जहाँ पे वो लोग अपने जैसे लोगों से मिलते हैं, तो उनका आधा दुख जो होता है, या आधी जो परेशानी होती है, वो वहीं पर डिसॉल्व हो जाती है. So definitely, जैसे Anila ने, she mentioned that people are calling her from Montreal, from other part of the Canada, because of that sharing, because of the values which our Maskan are offering. So अगर हम उनको ऐसी ही जगह provide करें, और जाहिर ये एक बहुत बड़ा initiative है, ये time लेगा, लेकिन इसके लिए सपोर्ट चाहिए. हमारी कम्युनिटी बहुत ही अच्छी है, and I'm talking about Canadian community. I'm not talking about a specific community. I'm talking about Canadian community. That Canadian are very generous, they're very kind, they're nice, they're polite. So I hope so that the dream जो अनीला अजीम का है, या आपका है, या जिसका भी है, जिन लोगों ने ये पेंटिंग बनाई है, मतलब मेरे इसमें यह है कि फ्यूचर में इससे डबल हम एक मस्कन दे पाएं. It's not only a 7-bedroom, but I think so we need 17-bedroom house, or 17-bedroom place where we can provide that comfort to all the women. So जो भी औरत आती है, जो भी abusive situation होती है, ज़ाहिर है कोई भी अपना घर नहीं छोड़ते, वो मर्द हो या औरत हो, वो कोई भी हो. लेकिन ये है कि जब भी हमें चाहिए कि हम उनके इस ये जो इनके मुश्किल जो टाइम है, ये जो उनके मुश्किल हालात हैं, उनमें हम सब उनका साथ दें. और उस साथ के लिए अगर हम थोड़ा थोड़ा भी दें, बेशक if we are not able to give them a $5,000, but if we are able to give them a $15 or a $5 will be also make a big difference, because इस कतरा कतरा दरिया बनता है. तो मैं तो सबसे यही कहूंगी और सबसे यही अपील करूंगी कि चूंकि ये ऐसी जगह है कि जिसमें हमें सबको बढ़ चढ़कर हिस्सा लेना चाहिए, और कितना भी हो, $5 हो या $50 हो या 50,000 हो, ये आपकी नीयत पे डिपेंड करता है. आप दिल खोल के इस जगह को दें.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello, Ramzan Mubarak to everyone. Very, very happy to be here today. On a personal note, my father's side of the family immigrated from Pakistan in 1963 to Calgary. So we've been here for many, many years. Very excited about all of the wonderful work that Maskan has done. And as the President and Chief Executive Officer at the Center for Newcomers, it is extremely important for us as a large settlement agency working with all newcomers that are coming from all walks of life to be able to work with organizations like Maskan, because the value that Maskan brings is that exactly what John Gul was talking about in terms of being able to have apni zaban, being able to speak your own language, being able to have your own ways of communicating and understanding, and your own community to make you feel comfortable. And so many of the women that we see are absolutely in that situation, unfortunately, and we feel very safe and very confident to be able to refer them to Maskan, to know that they're going to be safe with Maskan, and that our partnership is strong, and inshallah continues to be that way. On behalf of all of the staff and the board members at the Center for Newcomers, I wish you so much success, not only in your fundraising efforts, but to continue on. And on a personal note, my father has passed away now, but I would like to, on behalf of Mavia Umar and Hamda Umar, my loving mother, on behalf of them, I would like to purchase one of the bricks at 5,000. So that is a personal commitment that we are making as well. And we will continue on beyond our family with the Center for Newcomers to continue on to support you. Thank you so much. And I look forward to getting to know all of you much better.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. And thank you so much, Aneela, for inviting me on this platform. And it's really been an honor and privilege to work with you. over a period of time, helping so many women who experience domestic violence. We all know it takes a village for every woman to leave a very comfortable space of her home and move to a new place where she don't know anyone, she don't know the language, she don't know what her future looks like. But at the same time, she made decision of leaving abusive relationship and make her future planning to and again, that is very ambiguous moment for every woman. We completely understand that. And another thing which about domestic violence is that it does not discriminate anyone. People from any age, education, race, sexual orientation can experience it. So it's usually a myth. We used to say that it's usually women who are low, belongs to low income status. They are the one who actually experience that. We have seen women from affluent backgrounds, from middle class background, from upper middle class background also experience that. And for some reason, they are not willing to leave that abusive relationship because they are not willing to go to that government assisted shelters. They always share their concern that that is very unsafe place for us to go. So what I really appreciate about Maskan is that they completely provide home environment. And the way you have seen immigrant, when they come to Canada, there are so many complex challenges they experience. Domestic violence is among one of very top among them because they don't know their rights, especially women. They don't know their freedom, which things they can exercise. And unfortunately, the perpetrator took advantage of it. So I think the greatest strength of this initiative, Canadian Pakistani Support Group, is that you guys provide a complete home environment to those women where they can equally share, where they can equally share safe space. It's a welcoming space to all women. I have been personally being there, and I can sense that it's just like your second home. And
okay, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Thank you so much, Anila ji and Zainab for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to express my views. And as we are working together, and today I would like to provide you with a brief introduction to how CPSG and PCHS are working together. Canadian Pakistani Support Group and Punjabi Community Health Services have worked together in order to support the community through various programs, especially during the pandemic. So during COVID-19, CPSG and PCHS services joined hands to support the community and its different programs. So these programs consist of winter clothing drive, opioid overdose staff training, and raising awareness on some of the family violence and domestic violence issues. So Canadian Pakistani Support Group, I am so proud to say that Canadian Pakistani Support Group believes in the effect of a good cause and creating a strong sense of community, and PCHS has been one of the closest community partner of Maskan. So I'm very proud to say that we are working really very well together. And PCHS has been addressing the need of the Maskan clients, when Maskan staff refer clients to PCHS, then PCHS team and Maskan team are working together, and both sides team members are very dedicated and passionate to serve the South Asian community in the areas of their addiction, mental health, domestic violence issues. So I want to say both organizations are optimistic to support the good cause of Maskan clients, so which is a transitional shelter, as everyone is saying like a really very good words. I am just trying to that if I can catch like a really very good a good words for Maskan. So I'm trying my best. So I want to say that in the last couple of years, as I work with CPSG and Maskan, so Maskan has gained almost, I think, like 25 to 26 new partnership with other organizations. So that's like a really very big achievement for Maskan. And Maskan staff uses, as I know that Maskan staff use a holistic approach. They do the initial assessment of their clients, and then after the assessment, they provide services to the client according to the services they have available in their shelter. So if their clients need like a further help for settlement, employment, and legal matters, so they refer their clients to the different organizations. So Muscat refers their clients to PCHS Calgary, especially for the counseling sessions. So as PCHS staff provide one-on-one counseling session and then group counseling sessions program as well. So all of these clients are getting free counseling services from PCHS in the areas of their mental health, addiction, and then domestic violence. So the programs and services that we are providing to the South Asian community, it's that we are using the like holistic approach as PCHS is also using the holistic approach, and then Maskan shelter is using the same approach. But like when we cannot find the programs and services in these two organizations, then we refer our clients to the other organizations. So our aim is to empower individuals and families to lead healthy, enriched, and happy lives. So I hope that we will be well-suited partners in the future as well, and while promoting our best to our communities. So, and this is the day that, guys, we are requesting to all of you, please, as Zainab said, that open your heart, open your pocket, and then as John Gould said, that there is no like a small and big amount. As much as you can, then please donate to Maskan, and because this is the really, really very safe place for women. I personally visited there. I personally worked there as a settlement counselor, and the enthusiasm that I have seen in like so Anila and then so Anila staff, it's like a really, really heads off to all of you guys. It's amazing. So humble request है आप लोगों से, रमजान का महीना है तो प्लीज प्लीज जितनी भी डोनेशन हो सकती है आप लोग करें. मैं अपने जो है ब्रदर के नाम पे जो है अभी $200 डोनेट करती हूँ मस्कन को, that he was passed away. So $200 from so Colonel Ali, he was died in 2016. So I just want to donate $200 today.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the invite. A lot of the panelists made a lot of good points, and I just kind of really want to stress them, right? That it's really important to support organizations like Maskan because there aren't many organizations like Maskan. The level of professional expertise, the cultural relevance, and the humanistic approach that they apply is something that's really important to engage marginalized communities and vulnerable populations that are underserved by many other mainstream organizations. Maskan is very unique in that it's an effective and engaging populations from South Asian families to Muslim families to pretty much all Canadians and people of all race and walks and colors, because they support a very culturally relevant methodology of engaging and providing support to clients escaping domestic violence. MCCRC provides MCSC helps support individuals who are facing housing and food insecurity. And it's really critical for us to have organizations like Maskan that we can rely on, who can appropriately refer, do appropriate intake assessments, and really understand what kind of struggles individuals facing domestic violence are going through, and kind of help them achieve their life and life goals. So it is the month of Ramadan. I really appreciate and really would like that everybody open their hearts to donate openly and support a great cause like Maskan. Just to reinforce the point, there aren't many other organizations that do the work that Maskan does that are effective at engaging the vulnerable populations like Maskan is able to do. So please do support them today. And I really wish Maskan all the best in their efforts.
Okay, is it okay?
Yes, good, perfect, good to go.
Assalamu alaikum, and thanks. Thank you very much for this much needed project that we need here in the city of Calgary. I would first of all, inshallah, Ramadan Mubarak for all of us, for all of you, for all the viewers and listeners now, live or after. I think for a community of 100,000 Muslims in the city of Calgary, this is way too late to have we are already late of accomplishing or building much needed space for vulnerable people. Unfortunately, I should say, unfortunately, I was in the spots of so many times for the last year and a half, where family reach out in a very tense moment where the whether the teenager just left the house, or one of the family members that they have to leave for the reason that we all know. Unfortunately, whether we like it or not, domestic violence is part of our lives. So we're not going to shy away from it. We are just like anybody else. We have families, and these families go to problems, go to issues. The question is, when any of these vulnerable people go to this situation, the question would be, is where are they going to go, and how do we feel about when one of your family members, whether a kid, a wife, or the whole family altogether, just all of a sudden they leave the house for whatever the circumstances. It's our duty to this community to have a place where at least we know that the damage is going to be so-called damage control slash a safer place to go to, a place where our family members will be in a place very familiar with our culture, very familiar with our traditions, very familiar with our faith, because this is such an important time. When anybody walk into Maskan, they didn't go there because they want to have fun. They don't go there because they just like they choose to. They only walk into Maskan because they have no other place to go to or to be on the street. So it's our obligations to all these family members, to all these community members, especially those who really go under stress and under extreme domestic violence, at least to guarantee that we're going to be offered them that support and the safety net that is needed. We have, as a Muslims, and alhamdulillah, we're all Muslims, or majority of us here Muslims, and this is also a good call to remind you of one of the main principle in Islam, which is ighathat al-malhuf. This is a call from the Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is our duty when somebody reach out that they need help. It's our obligations by faith to respond to that. So ighathat al-malhuf, which is like to respond to a needy calls, or to respond to a stressed person. It's our duty as a human, for humanity, our duty as a community members, and also is our duty as a faith. So having that place, it become a really, it's not a luxury, it's not like really an options, as much as it's really it's a must, because we know what's going on. And I can tell you like few incidents that it really it happens that I was involved in the process. Literally, I can tell you now, and this is why I'm doing this, because this, for the last year and a half almost, I'm not really sure about the exact time frame, I never called Anila for any problems with a youth or a family or kids, and she always was there. She was like, you know what, when you feel like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And all of a sudden you call that person and say, you know what, it's okay, we're going to take care of that. So as a widow who lost her husband just like 6 months past, and then she has to struggle with her own kid. She was just panicking. Her teenage girl left the house for whatever reason. But as soon as that girl went to the Maskan, personally, I felt like at least this is like the minimum damages that this teenage could go through till she's just relaxed, she's just calm, she can back to her like a normal way of thinking, where she's gonna find a really a support. And I don't mean support just by providing a bed and food to eat. It's not about this. It's that feeling that you belong to a community that really cares about you. You belong to a culture. You belong to a religion. You belong to a great city. You belong to a wonderful country that really create this a space that can suit you, suit your specific need, because you belong to a kind of little bit a different culture. So it really is our obligations to build that. And if you don't mind, guys, I would like to switch to Arabi, if that's okay with you.
Yes, please.
يعني سبحان الله I was كنا عم نحكي على المشروع المسكن. By the way, the word maskan is such a beautiful word in Arabic. It's not about just the second, which is just a place to live, but also about sakina, which is all the same. It was derived from the same word, sakina, which is just you feel safe, you feel like in peace. And that's really needed, because this family, when they go through this, when these kids, whether or a family or mothers or daughters, when they go through that, that's what they really need, is to feel safe, to have that peace, some form of peace, or maybe a break from the trouble that they're going through. So كنا عم نحكي على أهمية بناء المسكن اللي هو بيأمن يعني السكن مؤقت. It's a temporarily transitional house. So when بيكون في مشاكل في العائلة لا سمح الله, which is يعني ما في داعي ننكرها, أحيانا راح يصير في معنا أمور, راح يصير في معنا الطفل, شاب, المراهق, المراهقة, العائلة, الأطفال, الذي هو بيصير في مشاكل في البيت. أن الأفراد العائلة أو الزوجة والأولاد بدهم يروحوا على الشلتر, بدل ما يروحوا على شلتر يعني ما معروف, بيقولوا بالإنجليزي, بالعربي ما معروف أرعد أبوه منين. أقل شيء هذا المسكن, it's a transitional place that اللي بيقدم خدمات يعني مخصصة our community, Muslim community, Arabic community, and other immigrant communities, لأنه بيهتموا, بيعرفوا التحديات الخاصة في هالعائلة هاي. فوجود مسكن أو مسكن like this يعني هو أقل شيء اللي احنا بنقدر نساويه لحتى نضمن إذا لا سمح الله واحد من أفراد العائلة تبعنا مرق في ظرف صعب, فأقل شيء ما راح يكون بشالتر ما بتعرف شو عم بصير هنيك. ونحن بنعرف يعني ممكن واحد يكون طالع بشغلة بسيطة يتعرض برا ويتعرف على أجواء أنت ما بتريدها, أو ينحط في أجواء ما أنت بتريدها, إن كان نوعية الناس, إن كان نوعية الأكل, إن كان نوعية الجو كله هيك. فأنا أتصور يعني ما في داعي ننكر إنه نحن في عنا حاجة يكون عندنا كجالية عربية, جالية مسلمة, جالية نيو إميجرنت بهالبلد هذا, يكون عندنا مسكن that tailored to our own cultural need, يعني يكون مخصص أو في شيء مراعاة لعاداتنا, ثقافتنا, أكلنا وهالأمور هاي. ف مسكن هلا عم يساوي fundraise for to buy the house, to buy the place يعني. فهو الهدف من الفاند انه يجمعوا مبلغ مشان يشتروا المبنى بدل ما عم يستاجروا, لانه المشاكل عم تواجههم انه دائما هو تستاجر المكان يعني استئجار مقارنة بشراء. طبعا هذا يعني when you rent you're wasting your money. So نحن we want to invest our zakat money, our sadaqat money in the best possible way. So spending the money on rent, that's called waste money. Spending the money on owning the property, that's called investment. That's going to belong to this community and is going to be asset for this generation and for many generations to come. So
yeah, thank you so much, Zainab, for giving me a chance. I will talk in 3 languages. So number 1 language is English. So actually I am working with the CPSG, like not a lot, but I'm watching them very closely, and mashallah, they are working very, very good. I'm witnessed how they selflessly work and how their volunteers give their time and how they are making difference in my community, Pakistani community. But in Maskan, I saw a lot of non-Pakistani people coming, like the females coming and living there and spending their hard times there. It is like you go to a doctor, you get treatment, and then you get well, and then you go out of the shelter. The second thing which impressed me, Maskan, is they have so much youth with them. Like, this is the only organization, Pakistani organization, which I saw they are engaging so many youth with them, boys and girls, which impressed me a lot. I will talk few words in Urdu. आप जो मुझे सुन रहे हैं, please आप इस cause के लिए donate करें. मैं खुद भी करूँगा इंशाल्लाह. मैं थोड़ा सा जितना मेरा इस्तिताअत है मैं भेज दूँगा पैसे अभी थोड़ी देर में. और आप सब please कभी भी गरीब नहीं होंगे अगर आपने थोड़े से पैसे इनको दे दिए। हम पाकिस्तान पैसे भेजते हैं अपने रिश्तेदारों को दूसरे प्रोजेक्ट्स में, इनका भी उतना ही हक है क्योंकि आप रहते इधर हैं। आप सारा दिन रात साल के 10-12 महीने इधर रहते हैं, 1-2 आध महीने के लिए पाकिस्तान जाते हैं। प्लीज इनको डोनेट करें। आखिर में मैं पश्तो में 1-2 बातें करूंगा। तासु जी सोना मांगू रही प्लीज दूसरा डीर ज्यादा हेल्प होगी दा डीर ज्यादा यो ख मकसद द पारा कार कई द डीर ख मकासद दी او خدای پاک دې دوی په دې دغه کې کامیاب کړي دوی خپل مقصد کې او تاسو پلیز دوی سره چې تاسو څونه وس کېږي دوی سره لاس امداد وکړي. Thank you so much, Zainab. That's all I wanted to say. I don't want to take other like a lot of your time. So thank you so much for giving me opportunity. Thanks.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. First of all, I want to thank you for including me in this important cause. Maskan has been very close to my heart, and I've also been observing their work over the years. I've seen how they have developed into becoming an organization of structure and involving the community and making a true difference in the lives of women and children who need it the most. Domestic violence is a global problem of enormous proportions. It's not just limited to Canada, but I'm really sorry to share that Alberta is the second highest province in this country with the domestic violence, which is not a good thing. And as a result of that, we must all rise to the cause and all contribute significantly to support these women. When we support these women by supporting this organization and a temporary shelter for them, it actually empowers them because it gives them that they will not tolerate abuse. There are many women who live in houses and they keep tolerating abuse because they don't know where to go. And even though we have big social circles, unfortunately, there is a stigma around family violence and abuse. And so they continue to live in that abuse. Once they know that there is a place, there is support, they will feel empowered. And that may actually decrease the domestic violence by itself. Because the perpetrators of violence are people who actually look for vulnerable people. If women are empowered, that is taken away from them. The power is gone. So that is one important piece, in addition to the facility that will provide support to women who need it. There was a study done in 2012, and which showed that every hour of every day, at least one woman is abused by a partner or her spouse. So you can imagine the volume of this entire calamity that we are facing, and we are so oblivious of it. So I really want to stress the fact that we need to support Aneela and her team in making this happen and making this continue. She's already made an effort. She's already shown us how it can be done. And since we all can't do it, we can't offer our own homes, but at least we can support somebody who's making it a safe place for women to be when they are in a situation where they have no place to go. And the other important point here also is, as Muslims, as Pakistani community, their shelters are present in Canada, in Alberta, and Calgary, but they don't cater to our own community needs. And I know I'm not just talking about the Pakistani community, but all Muslim community. So we want a place where they feel safe and they also feel that they can relate to, because if they're taking children to a place where the children don't feel comfortable, then obviously they're not going to go there. So this is a huge step. And on behalf of Canadian Global Care Society, we will make our contribution. And we hope to continue to support Aneela and her team in this effort for the community. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and thank you so much for inviting me today. It's an honor and it's an opportunity, and I'm really feeling humbled by seeing this response from our community today. As I have this privilege, I have been with Canadian Pakistani support group from the very beginning. I think that we started in Ramadan in 2017, and when we were like texting back and forth, me and Anila, that how this is going to be and what are we going to do. And then we started with I think supporting Thar at that time with Ahmed Nadeem Maimun Saab and supporting some, I think, wells in the area of Thar. That was our first, I think, project that we started with Canadian Pakistani support group. And it's amazing to see how it has become an army now. It started with few people, it has become an army. And I really feel humbled to be part of this great team. This is how this all started, I'm not sure, but I think whatever you start with a great niya, with a, khalis niya, jisko kehte hain na, pure niya in your heart, that project is being supported by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has his hand on this project, on this team, because the people are working with pure niyas and pure intentions. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always rewards people who are working with pure niyas, alhamdulillah. So Maskan, why name was given Maskan? I think there was this, when we were picking up the name, Maskan means it's a peaceful house where you get comfort and peace. And we are giving comfort and peace to those people who are victims of domestic violence. And domestic violence is nothing new. It is a global problem. We have seen that domestic violence affects everyone, regardless of their race, religion, ethnicity, socioeconomic status. Although people who are more vulnerable are people who are in our communities. We have seen new immigrants because of low socioeconomic status, unemployment, and they're coming from families probably who are being affected by domestic violence, because it is kind of a cycle that goes on and on and on. And this is why we need to create awareness for this. I have been working in an area in Calgary that is surrounded by new immigrants. 15 years in that area. I have seen immigrant women coming from all over the world. And when it comes to domestic violence, there is no discrimination. It comes in all cultures, in all ethnicities. And what happens to these women and children when they become victims of domestic violence? There is post-traumatic stress disorder, there is depression, there is anxiety. And those children who are raised in that environment, what happens with them, they also go through this cycle of anxiety and depression. And then they don't want to go to schools and they get involved in drugs. And then when they become involved in drugs and alcohol and all those things, they get into crimes, and this affects the whole community and the whole society. So today we are here to support not only one family or one person of domestic violence. We are actually supporting our whole community. We are going to raise those children where we are giving them an environment in a shelter where they come, they have a peace, and then their mothers can have some resources and awareness how to cope with this stress and anxiety and how they can be on their feet to raise their families later on. I know कि औरतों को कोई खुशी नहीं होती है अपना घर छोड़ने की. No one wants to leave their home. और मैं ये पढ़ रही थी, एक बड़ा अच्छा मुझे ये शेर लगा कि बेसबब लोग बदलते नहीं मस्कन अपना, तुमने जलते हुए देखा है नशेमन अपना, किस कड़े वक्त में मौसम ने गवाही मांगी, जब गरेबान ही अपना है न दामन अपना, अपने लुट जाने का इल्जाम किसी को क्या दूं, मैं ही था रहनुमा, मैं ही था रहजन अपना. ये औरतें जो इस वक्त शेल्टर में आती हैं, उनके लिए सब कुछ खत्म हो गया होता है, उनका घर जल गया होता है. There is nothing for them. And when they come to these shelters, if the shelter is giving them peace, respect, and an environment where they can have some time to think about their life and how to move on with their life, I think this is the perfect place to be. And we are not hoping to create more and more maskans or more and more shelters, but we are creating more and more homes where these women can come and live and have support. This is what is our goal is, and to create awareness for this. And Maskan has done this in this city, Calgary, in our community. No one knew about domestic violence. People knew about domestic violence. No one wanted to talk about domestic violence. People are scared. They're ashamed of talking about these things. Everyone wants to say that we are having a perfect life, but this is not true. So what happened with having Maskan and creating awareness, now people know that what can be done if people are being affected by domestic violence.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you so much, and CPSG and Zainab for it. And CPSG started at that time 3 years ago, and as Fizza mentioned, the first project was with Mehman Saab and with Athar, and then we sponsored many I know orphans, and then at that also with the clothing drive for the Eid. I know that used to be such a big thing, that the poor people who did not have money to buy the Eid clothes, and there was that drive, and then the idea of Maskan came. Being a physician, and it is true that domestic violence and domestic abuse is a sickness. It is an ailment. It is a disease, and we cannot simply put the Band-Aid on it. We have to address the root causes for it. And I'm so proud that Aneela started it, and especially for the Muslim communities, Pakistani communities, where it is considered even a more bigger stigma. And I know when we were talking to start it, there was so much resistance from within the community, where people were saying, like, what are we trying to teach our women here, that, hey, you can fight and go into the shelters? And we had to educate our community and society, and especially Calgarians know that is not what it is. It is to provide the most vulnerable people a safe haven where they can go without the fear of being judged, and that's what we did. So alhamdulillah, I'm very impressed by so far the response from the Calgary community as well. Last time when we talked, Anila mentioned that we have raised more than $35,000. And this is the spirit of the Ramadan. This is what, as Muslims, we can show to our other Canadian fellows, that this is what Ramadan is about, what Islam is about, not to just stay hungry and thirsty, but basically to show the spirit of giving, and especially for those who need it the most, especially as we know the victims of the violence and the domestic abuse. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never decreases our own, wealth when we give. If anything, sadaqah actually increases the wealth. We know that very well. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that it is who gives the, qarze hasana. And one of the Sahabi was there, and he said to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking for this curse from us. And Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, yes, he owns such a beautiful, garden of the trees with, if I'm not wrong, 200 or more than that date trees. And he said, okay, I give it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he rushes to his own home, and he even doesn't enter his home. He's outside the door of his home, calls his wife and says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was asking for qarze hasana, so I have given this whole garden to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And look at those women. We need those kind of women who raised the Sahaba Akram, who were the root cause for Islam to flourish. She didn't fight with him. How on the earth could you do that, where we are going to sleep tonight? She says, you did the right thing. So we need that spirit, to give. She said, oh, and she took her kids and they just came out of that home. And at the time of the Tabuk, we know. So I want to tell everyone who's donating, it doesn't matter it is $5 or it is $5,000. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees is our own passion with which we are doing. At the Tabuk, I mean, nobody could beat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu in the way he always gave the charity, brought everything of his household, and Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu half of it. And then here was a Sahabi who used to work for one of the Jews, his garden, and would water his garden the whole night. And what he got was the bucket full of the dates, and he just brought that to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But what mattered was, what is your passion for it, and what is your intentions with it? And Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam spread those dates all over. Jitna bhi maal wahan pe tha, it was so precious. So what matters, it doesn't matter what is the amount. Let's do it for those women. And one thing is that it is not just a shelter home where women just come. We know that there's lots of the social programs being run. There's counseling, there is women empowerment. These women are taught how to be the more productive members of the society, and they can actually get all the counseling sessions, and hopefully their partners and husbands will get those sessions too, and then they can unite together to make it the happy household. So by no means these shelter homes are there to break the families. They are there to make the family units more stronger. And
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, I apologize. You might have seen my neck down looking to my cell phone. Actually, what I was doing, that I can't beat Abid Khan Saab, but I shared this program, live program, about 35 different community organizations in Toronto, Vancouver, and Edmonton. so that they should also benefit from this live program and contribute in this good cause. Secondly, I would like to say that like Sister Samina said, that this donation, this sadaqah, which is zakat and sadaqah we can give, it's going to the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep our money and not return it? It will come back within a week, within 2 weeks, within a month. I can challenge you guys, I can bet on that. I have done several times, it comes 70 times better, and it will come back through some way, so trust on that. Thirdly, I would like to say that 2019, about 23,000 women was turned down or turned away from the shelters because there was no capacity. Where they end up? Mostly they end up in the streets. Do you think how miserable life they will be passing on the streets, Our women, our culture, our families, they need some staple food of their own choice, and some cultural values. They want somebody who speak their language and they can share their sorrows and things with somebody who knows their language. And also Maskan, Sister Anila, doesn't only provide the shelter, but there's a big part of rehabilitation. They are done counseling, they are given some jobs, they are given some training. So it's a whole package. It's not just the shelter and then tomorrow they are just thrown out of the door, So that's the big thing we should consider. And I would again say that yes, we should be aiming, like Bibi Chandgul said, 17-room house. So why not? We need 70-room house, with the domestic violence going on and with COVID around, domestic violence is increasing, people are flaring up on small things without any reason. They get angry. They just boot out the family members out of the house. Where should they end up? This, as Sam Nammoura said, that we are too late on this, so this is the right time. We are already late. So as soon as we hit the goal of 700,000, we should be buying this property. We should be buying this house. So we should hurry on that,
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. What a pleasure. What an honor. I was called this morning by Maiman Saab, the president of Pakistan-Canada Association in Calgary. And he asked me if I could come and give a few comments on this noble effort being led by Ms. Aneela regarding raising fund for Maskan and the concept of Maskan itself. I have also listened to a few speakers here. I am speechless. You must understand that Pakistani community is or Pakistani nation is one of the very few nations which are at the top tier of giving charity in the world. When Maiman Saab approached me this morning, I didn't know the background of it because the time was very short. But I always believe in a noble effort, and a noble effort led by ladies. My mother herself was a double master's in nutrition and home economics, gold medalist from Punjab University. My wife, she is a full-fledged doctor. My mother-in-law is again a PhD she's a leading educationist in Pakistan. So I have grown up in an environment where ladies have been respected, where ladies have been honored, where ladies have been followed by men. And for me, this effort is something which, if I put one word to it, it's brilliant. Violence is condemnable in all its manifestation, whether it is human rights or whether it is against women. Violence is not a solution. Violence should be condemned, and it's an abhorrible activity which an individual gets into. I wish I had some time. I wish I had some a lead time to this event. Maybe I could have contributed in a different manner. But to that effect, I would request Maiman Saab to bring, I have already posted this in our Canadian, Western Canadian Associations group, this effort which is being done. And hopefully people from all the associations from Western Canada would identify and know about this effort.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak. My name is Muhammad Yasmin, MLA for Calgary North. Welcome to this year's fundraiser held by the Canadian Pakistani Sport Group Association or CPSG. This fundraiser focuses on supporting women and children experiencing family violence. Fund raised will help secure a property for the Maskan shelter. As a member of this community, I pride myself on helping wherever I can. CPSG is working hard to improve the lives of Albertans by primarily supporting women and our youth. If you are willing and able, please support this worthy cause. I wish you all a blessed month of Ramadan filled with the joys of family, community, peace and understanding. Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Kareem. Assalamu alaikum.